We are here on the third day of Mobile World Congress. I'm here sitting with Sachin Verma. Sachin Verma is Chief AI and Data Officer at Rakuten. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Arun.
And Sachin has such a wealth of experience from the industry. You know, he's been in the computer science business, in the services business, in telco for a very long time as well, and has dealt with a variety of issues ranging from system. Now coming to a position where he gets to capitalize on all his experience as we create new services, new ways of working, and doing this in a country like Japan. Sachin, this is such an exciting time,
Thank
and
you for
welcome.
Thank you very much, Arun, and for such a generous introduction to me. I really appreciate coming here and talking to you.
Absolutely. And just so that you have context, we have a podcast series that we run that's called Coffee, Chai, and Chat. So there is a cup of chai available.
Yeah.
I have tasted it. It is good.
It's
So
good.
if you need to, please feel free to
Sure.
have it
Thank
during
you.
the process.
Sure.
So, Sachin, talk to us a little bit about your role as Chief AI and Data Officer. I mean, it sounds like such an inspiring and aspirational role for people. You know, people who've been in the sector and want to see something, happen. Seems like such a, fantastic role. Talk to us. What does the scope look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
So I think AI is everywhere nowadays, right? So from a Rakuten mobile perspective, if I go and look into, so I assume this responsibility 1.5 years back. We created a foundation platform, and how do we derive intelligence from the data and use it for a meaningful business outcome? I think that's the key responsibility that I run with. Now, setting up the data platform, creating a data intelligence out of those insights, and then using it for the business outcome, whether it is efficiency, whether it is marketing, sales, end-to-end view is what we created. And by the way, since Rakuten is mobile is part of the Rakuten group,
Right.
so there's a lot of value that we could enhance it from the group side of it as well.
Absolutely.
So this becomes a combination of a story where we help Rakuten group companies, in turn they help Rakuten mobile to enhance the value and the customers that we.
Fantastic. In fact, as you were speaking, that was one thing that I was thinking. The Rakuten Group was so uniquely positioned in the Japanese market. It's the group that is the most diverse in one sense. You've got the reach into the consumer wallet,
Yes.
right, through commerce. All the other guys are a little bit more traditional telco.
True.
So that provides you with a very different perspective on the go-to-market, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So I think people start from a telco and then venture into the OTT. We started from an OTT and then ventured into the telco. So it's the reverse journey that we took it. And I think Rakuten Mobile is uniquely placed to capitalize on this opportunity that we have with us, because monetization is a big theme for any telco, and there's a struggle to identify and monetize, giving all the consent and the GDPR and the privacy requirements which comes through. And from a group perspective, we have that edge with us. And we think with AI and the data insight that we generate, we could make a lot of difference more in the consumer's life as well. How to give them more meaningful propositions to him, and how do we grow the business together as a mobile and the group together for this.
Absolutely. And I remember now, Sachin, you were saying you took a detour out of the telecom industry
Yes.
to go into the food business and the consumer goods business, something like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it almost seems like it was meant for you to come back in with that experience here
Yeah.
in the larger context of Rakuten Group,
Absolutely.
right? Because you've got telco and you've got this non-telco experience from the food business, etc.,
Yes.
which is fitting nicely with the larger Rakuten context.
True.
Right? Very nice. So the scope seems pretty wide and far then in terms of what all you're able to address, not just within the telco segment, but also interworking with the Rakuten Group and the consumer segment and insights from consumer behavior. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, tell me one thing. The demographic profile of Japan is very interesting, right? I mean, you've got an aging society, but you also have a very young population in some segments.
True.
How do you come up with a bouquet of services that works across this demographic profile? Is this something that you're considering looking at for the future?
So I think we have a mix of people when we go and look into the demographics and the people, there is a segment that we are trying to address, right? Within the existing telecom companies in Japan, we have the highest share of the youth with us.
Wow.
Because the maximum population density is across the three main cities of Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya. Those are the places. And these are the places that we started off the network rollout in the first day. So we carry a highest percentage of youth people, and because of which the data consumption that we have is one of the highest in Japan market for us. Because these youths tend to consume more of the data.
Right.
Now, while that happens, we are also being cognizant of the fact that the seniors also had to be come
Right.
up with and then make a part of the larger growing digital ecosystem.
Right.
And to that effect, to entice those senior people, help them onboard us, we are now enhancing our shop footprint because these seniors are largely on the rural areas.
Oh, right.
Over the last 1 year, I should call it, starting from February last year until now, we've opened up almost 658 plus shops in the rural areas specifically to address those aging population. And then we are also coming up with a specific proposition as a senior plan. We call it Psycho Senior, which helps them offer the similar services but at a lower price point actually.
Wow. And with different usability characteristics, probably,
Yes.
right?
So I think with your platform on the digital platform that we are trying to go and come up, translation services, right, for aging, and then amplifying the because these aging people have the
Yes,
problem
yes,
of
yeah.
hearing, right?
problem, yes,
So
yes.
we use your solution to try and see how we could add that piece to improve their quality of
Quality of
services as well.
You know, I was, of course, this is your competitor in some sense, but Masa-san had a presentation about 20 years ago talking about the future of society and specifically on Japan. And over the first 5, 7 minutes, he talked about a very gruesome topic. He's actually said the number one cause of death in Japan is suicide.
Yes.
And then he double clicked on that and he said it's loneliness.
Loneliness.
Right? And I think that's one of the things that you can address as well.
Absolutely.
Because when and we have read the science and research on this, when people have a hearing problem and they tend to withdraw from social context, that leads to aging faster, it leads to dementia, etc. Right? So if we can somehow add value to that portion of society.
That's the whole idea for us to go and see how we can bring them into the society because digital is quite fast.
Yeah.
And for us to make it ease for these aging population to consume
Yeah.
and get use those technologies and give them all the possible assistance which is required, whether it is trust on the technology, all cyber security frauds which are coming, all these solutions we are trying to embed and build it as a bouquet of services for seniors, and we call it a Psycho Senior Protection Plan, which gives them all the assurance that what they consume our services, they are assured of all these cyber frauds and nothing will happen to them.
Wow. Fantastic.
Besides the one I talk of in terms of voice clarity,
Right,
that we would bring in. Actually.
Absolutely. I mean, it is such a powerful combination to have all the insights from the larger Rakuten and make a difference in their lives. Moving on, I have a couple of other questions that I wrote down, Sachin, that maybe we could go to. So talking about AI, we have already touched upon the external facing activity a little bit, like these services, etc. But is there a big focus on AI on internal process improvement and efficiency improvement as well? That's part of your remit in the company?
This is actually because the telco domain is expanding and the complexity is increasing with the 4G, 5G, IoT, terrestrial, non-terrestrial network. Doing something with the traditional way is it's very, very difficult.
Right.
I should call it, it's practically impossible with the
Right.
size and the scale and the speed that we are running with.
Right.
So it's imperative for us to go and make use of AI. It's not an optional state. It's a need for us to go and do it. And I think starting off from a cloud native and AI first telecom operator in Japan and globally as well with the technology choices that we've done in terms of going with Open RAN, software state,
Right.
cloud native. These are some of the capabilities which forms a foundation for us.
Right.
And they help us to stitch all these technologies together and we are able to consume, make use of the AI for the betterment from an operations. And I'll give an example to you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you're aware of this, we were certified as TMF level
Yes.
4 for the energy conservation. right?
Wow.
So we have a huge focus on how do we optimize the energy footprint because for operator, within an OPEX, 60-70% goes into powering the network.
Correct.
So we're addressing that piece of a segment with us with AI and we've created a homegrown solution through the RIC platform which is called RAN Intelligent Controller. and that intelligent controller hosts multiple RFs.
Right.
These are all machine learning algorithms which is specifically written for this task, and the entire automation happens from a detection when the site is less consumed, so we reduce the power. When the site is not used, shut down those power, and when it is traffic serving, it automatically enhances. This piece of an intent driven network helps us to reduce the power consumption at the radio sites. And we have benchmarked this piece, and in the last year we achieved 20% power reduction on the radio sites,
Wow.
which is phenomenal.
That is
And that helped
phenomenal.
us to get it. So this is all making use of an AI on the internal use case, driving the efficiency side of it, but also managing the cost as well at our end.
Wow. You know, Sachin, this reminds me of a conversation with a professor in IIT Chennai.
Okay.
His name is Ashok Junjunwala.
Okay.
And he was an innovator in telecom like 25 years ago. You know?
I see.
And we had gone to meet him, a few of us, several years ago. And he was trying to teach us about the context of India.
Okay.
And he said, look, take a look at your mobile phone, right?
Hmm.
Is your screen on?
Hmm.
We said, no, it's off.
Hmm.
Why is it off?
Hmm.
Because we want to conserve battery.
Hmm.
So now think of the same thing from my switching infrastructure perspective.
Hmm.
At 3 a.m. and 4 a.m.,
Hmm.
does your switch capacity go down?
Hmm.
We're like, well, not really. The CPU is running at the same level. This is
Exactly.
25 years ago.
Yes.
So he said, when you come to India,
Hmm.
you think of this, you give me a switch that is running 7 by 24.
Hmm.
It generates heat.
Hmm.
So I have to provide air conditioning to cool down this environment.
Yes.
The cost of energy just adds on in an exponential fashion. And then he said, Arun, you and your team
Hmm.
cannot fix it now
Hmm.
after the product has been designed.
Hmm.
You have to have this as a design consideration
Absolutely.
out front, right? And I think 25 years later, this is what you're explaining,
Correct.
that you're putting this into the fundamental processes of the race.
Absolutely. So I think what you said is so true. AI, what we build the solutions within Rakuten is not an afterthought. We embed those AIs within the solution itself before even it is rolled out.
Correct.
And it goes through a very rigorous testing cycle that we go and perform, because the Japanese standard from a quality perspective has to meet those levels of a standard. And that helps us to achieve this state. So I think this is so true.
Very cool, very cool. So I have another interesting question, because we grapple with this as leaders in the company like you have. How do you deal with this issue of competence for AI? Because I was in a meeting yesterday with a customer, and we were working on an AI project, and the people sitting in the room, Sachin, there were a few of us with a lot of gray hair, and there are a few people who are on the engineering side who are probably 25 years younger than us, probably, right? And these are the people doing the real work. We're all sitting on this side trying to set priorities and everything. And then you look at that talent to say, okay, but you guys are going to go execute this, right?
Yes.
So how do you work with competence inside the company on this AI domain?
So I think this is a challenge in the current space. You don't have AI talents available to you, right? So what you have is an existing talent pool. So we have a two-phased approach here. One, how do we educate the existing task force, existing man force with an AI knowledge? So there's a whole AIization program that we have. We enable them, equip them with the right tools, technologies, and go through the learning state. So that's one piece which is there. I think today we are talking of almost by consumption, and we measure this piece every week, right? How this is changing, how we are moving. Today, what we see within Rakuten Mobile, close to around 82% of the people use some form of an AI in their day-to-day work, and they are measuring, and we need to make it 100%.
Wow.
So there's the first stage to train the existing talent, because they have a very strong domain expertise, but they are not AI native, right?
Right.
That's the first stage. Second, we are also replenishing this piece of a talent by hiring new people.
Right.
So we get people from the new grades, IITs and other colleges. They have that knowledge. So it's a mix of both, which helps us to drive this innovation that we're working on.
Yeah. And the interest level from the people with the domain expertise, how do you think it is? Do you have to push them, or is it coming naturally, or how is it?
It's both ways, actually.
It's both ways.
I can't say they have a natural inclination towards it, but yeah, once they see people around them using it, they also get enticed more and more, and they start consuming. So it's a curve that you have to follow with time.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience. There are some people who are so rooted in the domain expertise, right? the openness to consider AI as a potential way to enhance everything, there is a huge barrier that some people have to cross.
Yes.
But then there are others who say, look, forget the past. Give me the module, give me the definition of what you want me to do. Let's throw it to AI and let's see what kind of code it comes out with. And if we have to clean it up a little bit, we will, right? And let's not worry about merging 4 different branches that we have from the past, etc. Let's just go start afresh. So I think it's very, very interesting. It's challenging every person, I think. Right?
So we have a very good way of articulating this. So we have something called Asakai, which is a every week Monday morning we have an Asakai where entire company employees join, and we encourage people to bring up their AI use cases, how they use the technology to optimize and become more efficient with AI.
Wow.
I think this piece helps a lot of people, thousands of people who join physically and virtually both. And then when they see their peers using AI and becoming more efficient, and the quality is amazing, right?
Every Monday you do this.
Every Monday. This is without
And
fail.
how long is this session?
So this session is for mobile, we do it for 30 minutes, and for Rakuten group, it is for 1 hour session actually.
Wow.
And people present their use cases, how they are using AI, and that motivates the other people. So this is, you have resources, you have examples, and then you have a new talent pool. So combination of it helps us to uplift the talent pool as well within the existing
The
organization.
commitment to spend 90 minutes, 60 minutes company-wide
Yes.
every Monday.
And Mickey presents himself in all those Asakai.
Wow. And yet does he talk about the use cases?
He talks about the use cases himself as well.
Wow.
So that's the focus that we carry today
That is
within.
unbelievable. I mean,
And
that's got to be top down.
Top down, actually.
Super inspiring, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow. Incredible.
And what we are talking of AI, not only for just the sake of it, we have a very, very measurable targets for, we call it triple 20, to measure ourselves, how we are progressing across those journey with us.
Wow. Fascinating, man. We got to find more time to talk outside of this podcast. One last question. I think we had already touched upon this before, but with a platform-based approach,
Yes.
right? What would you say are key asks that you have from a partner like us? In terms of maybe a hyper collaboration, understanding your use cases, anything that you would say, Arun, I know you've come this far, but this is what you really need to be adopting as a way of working for us to be successful together. Would you have any request like that? Any ask like that?
So I think there are 2 ways. So fundamentally, if we see the thought process with which you build a platform and the thought process that we build a platform is aligned.
Okay.
So there's a match. So which means you build a platform once, and then you have multiple use case running on the same platform, which is minor configurable changes.
Correct.
I think that gels well with our strategy as well. And the services that you guys are coming up with is pretty relevant in the market space. And how do you make use of these technologies? One, for the enhancement of the quality for your customers and a larger society. And second, in terms of generating more revenue. So I think that platform comes handy in both these cases, where it is voice clarity, translation,
Right.
number of vast services that you guys come up. So it's a one single platform. You deploy once and deploy in the multiple use cases as you move forward, as the market is matured enough. So you need to try multiple stuff. And this platform approach helps us to try that piece pretty quickly and fast.
Very good. Do you think we are running fast enough, or do we need to run fasting?
I think we are okay to this stage. If we need to move fast, we'll just buzz you and then ask for it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Sachin. This
Hey.
was fantastic to talk
Thank
to
you very much, Aki Arun.
Folks, this is Coffee, Chai and Chat, Mobile World Congress 26 edition. We've been speaking with Sachin Verma, Chief AI and Data Officer of Rakuten. And it's been such a pleasurable conversation. We could probably continue for another hour, but we have to bring this to a close now. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.